Hi everyone, I wanted to let you know that now you can get 14 days free trial in my online studio where you can come in and check it out, try out some of the videos, the different programs, and the journeys that we have going on. If you're interested, you can just click the link below in the description, and that's it. Soma also is very excited, as you can see. Hi, Megan. So nice to be able to practice with you here. Yay. My question, I've been practicing for 6 years and wheel pose has been in my practice for a long time now. At some point, I was also including the one leg variation. Recently though, I've noticed that I get a feeling of fear before going into wheel. The moment we start getting ready for the wheel pose in any class, my hands get sweaty and my heart races. I'm not afraid of falling or hurting myself because it's never happened, but for some reason I get anxiety, which I didn't feel before. I still do the pose, and once I'm in it, I feel a bit more relaxed, but I can't raise my leg anymore. I'm afraid to move my feet. I feel like I'm going backwards in my practice. Does this make sense? Has this happened to anyone else? Do you have any advice on how to overcome this? Thank you. So I want to address one part of that question first is, I feel like I'm going backwards in my practice. I have experienced that. I actually experience that practice kind of goes like this, like for me, when I start something, I get this like boost of growth. I'm like, wow, and it feels so good. And I can see my progress. And then I usually hit a spot where I kind of flatline for a bit. And that flatlining is like a stagnation, but often it feels like I'm going backwards. So I can very much relate to that place where you feel like you're going backwards. Instead of thinking that you're going backwards, can you try to see that you are progressing, but you've come to a plateau. And sometimes in a plateau, we're progressing in ways that we can't see or realize consciously or externally. Sometimes in places like this, what I've found is the best thing to do is to take a little break and then come back to the thing that I'm practicing. So in this case, wheel pose, if you were to experiment with just taking a break from wheel and maybe working on another kind of back bend or some back body strengthening, or even taking a little bit of time off of back bends altogether, and I leave that up to you. And then coming back to it again after some time to see if anything has shifted. In my personal practice, I've had huge shifts from taking a break from something that I've been practicing and then coming back to it. And often when I come back to it, I feel like, whoa, something opens up, some new territory. I've arrived at some new territory. In regards to your fear is always such an interesting thing. We can't predict when fear will arise for us in our practice, in our lives. We can live many, many years without experiencing fear about something, and then suddenly we can have fear come up to the surface. So fear is something to be acknowledged and respected and embraced rather than pushed against, because often when we push against a fear or try with a lot of effort to overcome it, the fear can get stronger, or we can create more tension in our body, which then can induce more fear. So I would say that the first thing to do is to acknowledge it, that it's there. And it sounds like you have done that. And to see though, if there's any areas of resistance towards this fear, especially when you're first feeling it. You said when in any class, when even before you go into wheel pose, you start to feel your hands sweat. So at that moment, practice just allowing that fear to run through you, and maybe don't go up into wheel pose, or maybe don't go up right away, but try to let the river of fear run through you, and for you to really get curious about it and let yourself feel it as fully as possible. Physically, somatically, this allows the energy of the fear to be processed. And it doesn't mean that it goes away right away, but you let yourself process and digest it little bite by little bite. more on a mental level, journaling. I'm a big fan of journaling because it helps me to sort through things. It helps me to express things that are coming up to the surface that maybe I wasn't aware were even there, and put them on paper so I can see more clearly like the architecture of my thought structures. So by getting curious and asking the fear questions, journaling about it, really diving into the process of it in a more bringing the light of your consciousness to the subconscious parts that may rise up to the surface when you start to inquire into them. So fear is to be respected. Fear comes up in our lives in different times. We can't predict it. It's always here to teach us something. It's here to grow us stronger. And it's here to show us something. And I think when we work with it in a way that it's like a buddy, we can become buddies with it and ask it questions in a way that is not trying to push it away. Our fear structures can reveal a great deal about ourselves to us. So it can be this amazing thing that allows us to learn so much about ourselves.